I'm in the middle of running my Getting Unstuck course because the last session of the year just started a bit earlier this month. And because it's a group coaching program and everyone goes through the class together, almost like a little tribe, some of the feedback I always get from the women who work with me is, oh my God, I can't believe how normal everyone else is. And it always makes me laugh a bit, but I know what they mean. I had one student email me just last week to say how she couldn't get over how many smart, successful, driven women were on this October course, all with lives that just look great on the outside. And she said to me, all this time, I thought it was just me who felt this way. I can't believe that all of us here have fallen into this exact same trap with alcohol. So I thought I'd talk about that a bit here in case you are also convinced that you are the only woman in the world who drinks the way you do, who has a life that looks fine to the outside world, but isn't so fine on the inside. I mean, if you picked a random woman from my Getting Unstuck course and looked at their Facebook or Instagram profile, you would probably think that they had everything figured out. If you saw them on the school run or in the gym or going around Tesco's, you wouldn't think anything was out of place. None of them were walking around swigging out of a bottle in a paper bag. They're all holding down good jobs, looking after kids or grandkids, getting promoted, juggling many different things at once, and generally keeping their shit together despite also drinking a lot. So this is what some people call grey area drinking. You won't see this type of drinking in movies or on TV shows because frankly, it's not dramatic or entertaining enough. So as a result, we don't tend to know much about it. And instead, we're led to believe that drinking is very black and white. It's just normal or bad. But there are thousands and thousands of women who fall into this middle, muddly grey zone. Women who don't look anything like the cliched stereotypes of problem drinkers and who also don't seem to drink in the same way that so-called normal drinkers do, that they're in that middle zone. I know there'll be someone watching this who is feeling very, very alone right now. Someone who is convinced that they are the only woman in the world who quietly drinks too much after work every night, or pretends to open a bottle of wine when her partner gets home and hides the bottle that she's already had and the wine she's already drunk. If this sounds like you, then the message I really want you to hear is that the world is full of people like you, people who drink too much and hate themselves for it and hide it really, really well. Only right now you feel alone because you can't see that. Because those other people are hiding their drinking with the same skill and brilliance that you hide yours with. I mean, how many times have you gone to an event, had just 2 drinks and then politely made your excuses so you could go home and drink loads and loads more in the way you really want to, but in privacy, without people watching? How many times have you pushed through a killer hangover and made yourself go above and beyond at work because you wanted to prove that everything was fine, nothing to see here? You might have felt terrible and hated yourself, but you got it done and no one was any of the wiser. If you are doing that, just think how many other women might also be doing that. From my experience, I'd say loads. You know, when Janet from accounts leaves the work party early after drinking very, very moderately and tells everyone she doesn't want to have any more and she's heading home for an early night, I promise you, you have literally no idea whether that's true or not. You just don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And the reason all of this matters, the reason I'm talking about it, is because when you think that you are the only one like this, or that there's something wrong with just you and everyone else is fine or normal, that's going to keep you stuck. Thoughts like that will keep you trapped in shame, and shame makes it very, very hard to quit drinking. What you really need is compassion and curiosity in order to quit. You can't shame yourself into it, not in the long term. You need that ability to be able to step back and say, yeah, I wonder why I do this. And perhaps my drinking does make some kind of sense because it has been meeting a need for me in a way. And perhaps that was just the only way that I knew how to meet that need up until now. And when you start realizing, you know what? Alcohol is an addictive drug, one that is romanticized and glamorized and very readily available, one that is joked about and normalized, and we say that it's needed for everything from surviving parenting to dealing with work stress. When you really get that, well, perhaps you can start to think, yeah, actually, maybe I've had a normal experience here. Perhaps there is no personal weakness, no moral failing. Perhaps I've just got a coping mechanism that really isn't working for me anymore. So, what's the moral of this video? Well, quit thinking that you're so special. You are one of many, many women who've had a very normal and boringly predictable experience with alcohol. And if you can just bring in a bit of self-compassion, it will be so much easier to work out how to change and what you want to do next. So I'm Kate B. Please scroll down and let me know in the comments what you think about this. And I really hope you have a happy and hangover-free week ahead.